Johnny here for Johnny's Car Care and Advice. So today what we're going to cover is the 2021 Ford Bronco Warthog Edition. I'm going to be asking, what engine and what options is it going to be coming with. So we're going to speculate on that, speculate a little bit on acceleration times for that Warthog model, and really try to answer the question of whether it's going to be better than the Wildtrak. It's going to be worth the extra money. Welcome. So today we're going to cover the Ford Bronco Warthog, which will definitely not be available in 2021. Start with the disappointing news. But we're going to cover acceleration, off-road capability, and the semi-certain equipment that we're going to get extra out of the Warthog. So before talking about engine specs, acceleration, and all the good stuff, I got to get something off my chest. The name Warthog. People online have been saying this is a dumb name because, it's a cute fuzzy pig. Pig's name. First of all, warthogs are not cute and fuzzy. They're not the same pigs that we eat. Warthogs have horns. They're actually quite vicious, and they're really good at kind of getting around everywhere. Just like this Bronco should be great at getting around at low speeds. That's a departure from the name Raptor, because Raptors, F-150 Raptors, are built for high-speed off-roading, whereas the Broncos are being made for low-speed off-roading, much more so. So that's an interesting little point, but I'd also say that there's a good chance that Ford is calling this the Warthog, which has been spied on one of the interior shocks because of the US military's jet, the Warthog. And that's pretty cool, and that's something that only an American company with an extremely long history can get away with and pull off, but they can do it, and they've done it in the past with the Mustang. So they can pull this off, and I think the Warthog is a great name. Now that's off my chest, done. Now we can get into the good stuff. Let's talk acceleration. So acceleration is going to depend heavily on the engine that Ford chooses to use. There's some speculation that it's going to be the 3-liter turbo from the Ford Explorer ST and also the Aviator, but on the Lincoln Aviator, of course, that comes with a hybrid power plant. Or will it come with the 3.5-liter EcoBoost that's found in the F-150? Or will it come with the F-150's new Power Boost? That's a 3.5-liter EcoBoost, but with the addition of a hybrid electrical motor. Now, Car and Driver got the 3-liter turbo off the Explorer ST from 0 to 60 in 5.2 seconds. So I think that could mean that, it's quite probable. It's a very feasible engine. However, I'd argue that if they want to compete with Wrangler, which they have definitely said that they do, I think they're gonna, the new Wrangler, there's a new model coming out with a V8. So I think they're gonna go with the biggest 3.5-liter option, because Jeep's V8 option is going to be quite powerful. And also, of course, Ford's thinking marketing and shoppers. And when you're shopping, you're looking at, a V8 and you're comparing that to a twin turbo V6. Well, a lot of people will feel a lot more comfortable and find it much more appealing if at least that V6 seems, quite large. People think big engine, big power. So with the 3.5-liter, they're also getting that big power to compete with Wrangler's engine. Now, of course, they could tone down the power the way they have for the 2.7. So on an F-150, a 2.7 makes 325 horsepower, but on the Bronco, it's supposed to make 310. But either way, the 3.5-liter EcoBoost now makes 400 horsepower and 500 pound-feet of torque. And if they do go with the Power Boost option, well, then it's going to make 570 pound-feet of torque and 430 horses. And I'd expect it to accelerate from 0 to 60 as fast or just slightly faster than an F-150. So, from that past slide, we saw that it did that speed on an F-150 to 5.3 seconds. and the quarter mile in 13.8. So if we do get the power boost on the Bronco, which wouldn't surprise me at all because Ford has said that they're very committed to get I think it was around 30 models to be hybrid or electric models by 2025. So it would make sense that the Warthog comes with the power boost. Power specs would help it get better specs than a Jeep's V8, which Ford has been trying to really be, tough on the competition in regards to specs. So that's the engine I expect. So 0 to 60, either 5.2 or 5.3 quarter mile. I'd expect it right at about 13.8. But keep in mind, an F-150 is heavier, and that's why it could be just a little bit faster. And the reason I think there's less chance of the Warthog having the 3.5 liter power EcoBoost instead of the power boost, definitely think it's going to be the power boost, but the reason I don't think it'll be the 3.5 liter EcoBoost is then it would have similar acceleration times to the 2.7 liter, most likely, because that has been recorded by Motor Trend and Car and Driver when placed in the F-150s when they do a comparison of a 3.5 liter EcoBoost versus a 2.7. So there we have it. I think those are going to be roughly a really great idea of our acceleration times, and I do think it's going to be a 3.5 liter power boost. Now, why wouldn't it be a 3 liter with the hybrid module? Well, that's making in the 600 pound-feet of torque area, and I think Ford is going to want to keep that motor for Lincoln to explain the price premium. However, if it does end up being a 3 liter hybrid, I'll be very impressed and very pleased. But power boost, I think, is the most likely, and I think it's going to be fantastic. So now we've already covered part of the equipment, engine. That's really important. Now, obviously, that's going to be glued to a 10-speed transmission either way, because both the Explorer 3 liter and the EcoBoost and Power Boost engines off the F-150 have the 10-speed transmission. So we've covered tranny. Now let's cover what's going to make this really extra special, and that's everything to do with suspension. Now, Car and Driver has been extremely helpful. They posted a video when they were following the Warthog. I listened to it, the 3.5 liter EcoBoost. The reason I think it's going to be that engine is because it sounded just like my F-150. And they also remarked that it did sound like an EcoBoost engine, and it sounded like a V6 3.5 liter. And they also noticed on the suspension that the suspension was, first of all, about 1.5 inches higher than your standard Sasquatch package or Wildtrak Bronco. And they also noticed that it had unique suspension and roll bars. So the Wildtrak, they say it's 35 inch, it's actually 34.4 inch, and I'll prove that later on in the video. But if it goes up to a full 37 inch tire, as the Car and Driver had noticed, we should expect at least 2 inches more of lift on the truck, maybe 2.5. Now, they also noticed that it had Fox Livewire adaptive dampers, and that's the breakthrough twin tube bypass technology from the F-150 Raptor. So directly quoting Car and Driver, also that the axles and the rear anti-roll bar are bigger. So, they're saying that this is going to make it more capable off-road. And I'd have to agree with them, because if you look at a base Bronco having only 8.4 inches of clearance and then going up to Badlands where you're at 11.6, I'd expect this to have at least 2 more inches of clearance. And furthermore, something that's really important when you're off-roading. So let's jump into the topic of off-roading. Is this going to be worth the extra money for off-roading? I'd say yes and no. If you're going to do some extreme off-roading, you'll want a Warthog. Or at least a Wildtrak. If you're going to do some, very severe off-roading, go with the Badlands. If your off-roading is, not going to include quite as much crazy rock climbing, then the Black Diamond Edition will be perfect for you, and you'll save a lot of money, because I expect the Warthog to almost be double the price of Black Diamond Edition. But with that extra 2 inches going from, 34.4 to, 37 inch-ish, it might come in at 36.8, or, we don't have the exact tire dimensions yet, so we can't know if it's a real 37 inch. but we'll have to wait and see. But if it is 2 inches, I'd expect the brake angle for, you know, approach and departure to increase by 4%. Now that's looking at the difference between the brake angles off a base to a Badlands, which accounts for 4 inches of tire. So I'd expect that if we go up another 3 inches, that we'll get, you know, about at least 4% better approach angle and departure angle. And that's really important when you're doing some, you know, really extreme off-roading where you're trying to climb rocks. So I do expect the Warthog to be a lot better off roading, but it's important to keep in mind what you're going to use the vehicle for, because if you're not going to do rock climbing, I don't think getting a Warthog will make, you know, sense just purely money wise. It won't be worth the extra money unless you're also looking for, you know, a really unique special edition that will, you know, I expect Broncos to have an incredible resale value, but a Warthog should have a resale value like the SVT Raptor F-150s. So they really, you know, almost don't depreciate, and, you know, they're pretty collectible. I'll expect the Warthog edition to be very collectible later on. So, you know, if those things appeal to you and if the extra power appeals to you, great. I really hope they throw that power boost engine on, because if they do, I'll expect fuel economy to be 30% better. And I say better, but not really, because the bigger tires is going to hurt. Bigger, heavier tires will hurt fuel economy, and so will the height of the vehicle. So in other words, you know, you're not going to get 30% better fuel economy, but it's going to help not get quite as bad fuel economy. The increase won't be nearly as noticeable. So let's hope for that power boost. And let's hope the Warthog won't be too expensive, but if it is, there are solutions. The Wildtrak is going to be, you know, definitely quite a bit less expensive. You know, when we look at the first edition coming in at $10,500 more than a Wildtrak, while I'd expect the Warthog to be between 60 all the way to maybe even 70,000 US. That way its price would also follow about the F-150 Raptors. So the Wildtrak is an amazing off-road rock climbing option. The Badlands with its 33 inch is going to be a good off-road rock climbing model as well. Now the Black Diamond, if you want to go off-roading with a budget and have an excellent machine, that comes in at an excellent price, and, you know, it's less expensive because of the suspension that doesn't disengage, and tires. So, you know, I think Black Diamond is an amazing off-road option. Comes in at a reasonable price compared to the others. So I think this is going to be the big seller. And we're going to get a Black Diamond way before we get a Warthog, which will probably be more for you know, 2022, maybe even 2023. And please keep in mind that Ford got so many reservations and have already said they won't be able to fill them all, that you really do need to get a purchase in soon so you can get a 2022. As always, if this has been helpful, which I really do hope it has, please like. And if you want more Bronco videos, please subscribe, because I've got new videos